afternoon. Hi, my name is Alisa Tongg, and Lauren and Tom have asked me to thank you all for being here. Some of you have traveled a great distance, and all of you have been generous with your time and your support. People often equate wedding guests with an audience, but your role here today is one of great importance. Marriage vows are made before witnesses, because those promises are not only between the couple, but are also shared with their family and community. And so it's a great gift that you give to Tom and Lauren by bearing witness for them today. So, in the spirit of being present and truly witnessing this moment, please make sure the volume is off on all cell phones and other electronic devices as we're about to begin. Thank you. You may be seated. We have gathered here today to celebrate the commitment that has been evolving in our couple's hearts and minds since they first met on this exact day 2 years ago for their first magical date. A marriage begins by joining two people who love each other together, but matures and develops when held firm in the web of family and community relationships. The ideals, the understanding, and the mutual respect which they bring to their lives together they would not be who they are today individually or as a couple. Today, as they establish their own family unit, Tom and Lauren acknowledge that they will also be joining each other's families. And they wish to thank their parents, John and Kathy, Robert, Barb, and Paul, for all you've already done to welcome Lauren and Tom into your families and support them as today they start their own. The popular saying, "There are plenty of fish in the sea," is a reference to the many possibilities that exist when it comes to finding love. Luckily for Tom and Lauren, their love story is not a tale of catch and release, but one of for keeps. Going into their first date, Lauren says, "I was so excited to meet him, and I had a really strong feeling that he was going to be special." They decided to go bowling in Wilkes-Barre. Lauren remembers leaving early to make sure she wasn't late. But her GPS had other plans. She ended up getting lost along the way to Tom. Tom, who was set on making a good impression and had arrived at the bowling alley very early, stood outside in the parking lot, guiding Lauren on the telephone through the back streets of Wilkes-Barre until she found her way to him. Despite being frazzled from being late, Lauren was able to pull it together when it came time to lace up their shoes and choose a ball. Over the next several hours, they shared spares and conversation, and Lauren won all 3 games. Not quite ready to end their date, they ventured over to Mohegan Sun as Tom tried their luck at the slot machines. F. Scott Fitzgerald once wrote, "They slipped briskly into an intimacy from which they never recovered." This might well have been written about Lauren and Tom's immediate connection. Tom says, "I definitely called her the next day and have talked to her every day since our first date." As these two began to spend more and more time together, it was the quality time and shared intentional experiences that helped them realize their serious feelings for the other. Tom remembers the particular moment he knew he was falling in love with Lauren. They had taken a day trip into New York to see a Knicks game, and after the game, they meandered through the streets, cozied up at dinner, then finished the night looking out over the entire city together on the observation deck of the Rockefeller Center. About a year after their first magical date, Lauren and Tom moved in together. And in their experience of making and sharing a home together, Tom says he quickly came to the realization that he wanted to be with Lauren in a forever sort of way. He's confident that Lauren would put everything she has into their relationship, and he says, "There is no one I would rather spend my life with." And Lauren agrees. "I never knew one person could make me so happy," she says about their life together. About 500 days after their first date, Tom and Lauren were visiting Washington and Oregon when they were exploring the scenic Columbia River. Tom took Lauren on a hike neither of them would soon forget. They started the day at the Oneonta Gorge, climbing over some large rocks, making their way through toppled trees, then waded through shoulder-deep waters to reach the waterfall at the end. After they hiked back out of the gorge, they were still in the mood to see more waterfalls, so they took a short drive down towards Multnomah Falls. That was right? Thanks, Tom. I've been to this waterfall before, which is the tallest waterfall in all of Oregon. This particular waterfall drops into two major steps to create an upper and a lower falls. Right at the top of where the lower falls begin, there's a footbridge called the Benson Bridge that enables visitors an up-close and personal experience where they can stand suspended over the middle of the waterfall. It was here, in the middle of the waterfall, where they could feel the rising mist from the Cascades, where Tom said he wanted to show Lauren a special rock he had found on the gorge hike. Then he got down on one knee, and he surprised Lauren by pulling out a homemade box engraved with their initials, and inside of the box, a ring. Surrounded by scores of onlookers,
Tom asked Lauren, since their first 500 days together had gone by so swimmingly, if she would spend all of her future days by his side. Lauren remembers, I immediately said yes. I was so happy. I knew he was the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. And it is this intention to spend the rest of their days as husband and wife that brings us to this next moment. Before you, Tom and Lauren, are joined together in marriage, I'm called to remind you of the serious, binding, and holy nature of the new relationship to which you're committing to today. The ancient rite of marriage is the voluntary, deliberate, and full commitment of two individuals to each other to become partners for a lifetime. Marriage is a sacred rite. A commitment to marriage is made in the deepest sense possible, to the exclusion of all others, and it is entered into with the desire, the hope, and the firm intention that it will last forever. Lauren and Tom, take a moment to look at your hands and the hands of your partner. Tom, the woman whose hands you hold loves you very much. She's sentimental and adventurous, creative, artistic, and silly. You feel loved and cherished by her generous and heartfelt appreciation for who you are. These are the hands that make you birthday cards from scratch, the hands that take care of you when you're sick, the hands of your best friend, the hands that will, together with yours, raise your children and touch yours as you experience life's many adventures together. You must never take her for granted, but must keep your heart open and turn toward her. Your life and love will be Lauren's greatest source of joy. And so I ask, have you come here freely and without reservation to give yourself to this woman, Lauren Di Bernardino, in marriage? Do you promise to trust and honor her, to love her faithfully through the best and the worst for as long as you both shall live? And Lauren, the man whose hands you hold loves you very much. He's chivalrous and generous with his affection, easygoing and honest, sharp-witted, and a little bit of a nerd. Your heart radiates with his attention. Your perfect partner, teammate, and complement, this is the man who loves making you laugh. The hands that still open the car door and pull out your chair. You must never take him for granted, but must keep your heart open and turn toward him. Your life and love will be Tom's greatest source of joy. And so I ask, Lauren, have you come here freely and without reservation to give yourself to this man, Thomas Joseph Reichley, in marriage? Do you promise to trust and honor him, to love him faithfully through the best and the worst for as long as you both shall live? You've known each other from the first glance of acquaintance to this point of commitment. At some point, you decided to marry. From that moment of yes to this moment of yes. Indeed, you've been making commitments in an informal way. All those conversations that were held in a car or over a meal or during long walks and hikes, all those conversations that began with, when we're married, and continued with, I will, and you will, and we will. All those late night talks that included someday, and somehow, and maybe. And all those promises that are unspoken matters of the heart. All these common things and more are the real process of a wedding. In a moment, you'll make each other formal promises, symbolized by the vows you will exchange. These vows are a way of saying to each other, you know, all those things that we've promised and hoped and dreamed. Well, I meant it all, every word. Shortly, you shall say a few words that will take you across a threshold in life, and things between you will never quite be the same. For after today, you shall say to the world, this is my husband, and this is my wife. Now it's time to exchange your vows. Tom, you'll go first. If you could repeat after me, all right? I offer you my solemn vow to be your faithful partner in sickness and in health, in good times and in bad, in joy as well as in sorrow. I promise to love you unconditionally, to support you in your goals, to honor and respect you, to laugh with you and cry with you, and to cherish you for as long as we both shall live. You ready, Lauren? I offer you my solemn vow
I offer you my solemn vow
to be your faithful partner
to be your faithful partner
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in good times and in bad,
in good times and in bad,
in joy as well as in sorrow.
in joy as well as in sorrow.
I promise to love you unconditionally,
I promise to love you unconditionally,
to support you in your goals,
to support you in your goals,
to honor and respect you,
to honor and respect you,
to laugh with you and cry with you,
to laugh with you and cry with you,
and to cherish you
and to cherish you
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live.
Rings are a tangible symbol of love and devotion. They're worn on the third finger because ancient Greeks believed that a vein from that finger connected directly to the heart, thus symbolizing the depth and sincerity of love. May I have the rings, please? Thank you. The wedding ring is a symbol of infinity and eternity, and it's an unchanging, everlasting circle. So Tom, please take this ring that you've chosen for Lauren and place it on her finger, repeating after me. This is the hand. I give you this ring
I give you this ring.
as a token of my love and devotion.
My love and devotion.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I gladly marry you
I gladly marry you
and join my life to yours.
and join my life to yours.
You ready, Lauren? I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a token of my love and devotion.
as a token of my love and devotion.
With this ring,
With this ring,
I gladly marry you
I gladly marry you
and join my life to yours.
and join my life to yours.
May all who see your rings know that you love and are loved. Today, Tom and Lauren are investing all that they are and have in a shared future as they choose each other to be partners for a lifetime. Tom and Lauren enjoy seeking out and collecting souvenir ornaments from the places that they travel to together. And as a way of paying tribute to the special moments of their past, as well as their commitment to be adventurous in the future, they will be making their very own set of Unity ornaments with the assistance of a glass blower. After maybe like in a week or so, they're going to, in time for Christmas, it's going to happen, to commemorate their wedding day in a beautiful and unique way. So, gentlemen, would you mind backing up a little bit so we could reveal what's, you can stay with us a second. So, these separate containers of glass crystals represent your lives up until now. They're individual and unique. Each crystal in these vessels is like one of the elements that make up your lives. Your thoughts, your dreams, your family, friends, loves, your intentions, everything you each bring into this marriage. Your crystals represent who you've been, who you are today, and who you will become. Each vessel on its own is whole without need of anything else. In a moment, you'll both pour your vessels of glass crystals into this larger container in the middle. And as you combine your crystals together, your lives also join together as one family. You'll see that as you pour your crystals together, that they don't disappear, they don't melt into each other, they remain whole, just like you. Instead, they come together to create something new and something much bigger than each of you. Take turns and have fun and pour all of your love for each other in. So if you come over here and stand it on that side. Mhm. That's good. Those are going to be so beautiful.
your love. So just as these crystals can never be separated and poured again into your original containers, so too may your lives also be transformed. It would please Lauren and Tom for all present to take vows as well, to pledge your support and love for them as they embark on this new path together. So please stand, and after I've spoken these vows, please answer with, "We will." Would you mind facing your guests? Today we have come together to declare our love and support for Tom and Lauren as they are joined together in marriage. Do you promise to encourage and inspire their dreams, to accept them not only as individuals, but as a couple and as a family, to be their friends and their support today and every day to follow? We will. Thank you. You may be seated. In the very near future, Tom and Lauren hope to move out west, put down roots in Oregon, and eventually raise a family there. Tom says, "I hope I can make Lauren feel loved every day. I hope that we continue to grow together and our love only grows stronger with time." So Lauren and Tom, as you prepare to embark on this journey of a lifetime together as husband and wife, I'd like to offer you these blessings for the road ahead. May your hearts be united in the never-ending bond of pure love. May your family bring you happiness, and may your generous love for them be returned to you many times over. May peace live always in your hearts and in your home. May you have true friends to stand by you, both in joy and in sorrow. May you be ready and willing to help and comfort those who come to you in need. May you find happiness and satisfaction in your work. May daily problems never cause you undue anxiety, and may you be blessed with many happy years together. Before we conclude today's rite, I would like to ask everyone to get your bubbles ready for our grand finale in a moment. That's I have one. I can share that with you. Here you go. All right. All right, Lauren and Tom, as you've made vows before these witnesses and exchanged rings so that all who see them will know your love and commitment to each other, all that remains is for you to seal your vows with a kiss, as I announce, by the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that you are now husband and wife. Tom, you may kiss your beautiful bride.